Hi, I'm here with Dr. Jaclyn Walker. She is the program specialist for Portsmouth Public Schools in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hi, thank you for being with us, Dr. Jaclyn.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Let's talk about ACEs.
Okay, so ACEs, the acronym for those that may not know, it stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And what it is, it really deals into the work of trauma. And those trauma surrounds around 10 important questions that we may ask a child. So the 10 questions range anywhere, I won't go through all of them, but they range anywhere from if your parents are separated or divorced, if you have a parent that's incarcerated, if you feel like that your parent yells at you to the point where you're getting scared, if you have been sexually molested, if you have a parent that has anxiety or depression, if you have a parent that is an alcoholic or uses street drugs, and if you feel like that no one really loves you, so that emotional support. So when we put those 10 questions out to children, sometimes they don't really know how to answer them, but when you reflect back and you look at them as an adult, and you look to say, wow, like some of these things were really trauma that was going on into my life, so that's why I kind of may do things the way I do. So the more ACEs that you have, society says, or psychologists say, that the more you're going to have a troubled path around your life. So that's kind of sums up what the definition of having an ACE or taking the ACE assessment is really all about.
Okay, so how long has this program been going on in your district?
So the program that we have to help combat the ACEs has been going on since 2019. And we pick one particular ACE, which is the incarceration of a parent. So that ACE that we picked, we actually wrote a grant, but the grant stems from work that we do in the community. So the work that we do in the community is that we have a nonprofit called the MAN Foundation, and MAN stands for Men Alleviating Negativity, and it works with incarcerated individuals, returning citizens, and children of incarcerated parents. So from that birth our project called the BOSS Authors and Book Club. So BOSS stands for Breaking Obstacles to Seek Success, and what we actually do with that program is we work with children in elementary school that have an incarcerated parent.
Okay. So you touched on a couple of different traumas that students, as they go through public school or school in general, will experience throughout their life. When did it become evident to your district that you needed a program like ACEs to tackle these things? Like, what prompted you? Like, do you remember where you were? And just elaborate on that.
Okay, so it prompted me because I have a story dealing with incarceration. So my fiance was incarcerated. So when he was incarcerated for 3.5 years, I didn't know anything about incarceration. I didn't know anything about jail or prison or anything with that nature. And it prompted me because I went into another ACE, which is anxiety and depression, that led me to form this organization, which is our nonprofit. So as I would go to weekly visits at jails, or I would go to the jail to maybe put money on his books, I would always see these children and they would be at a loss because one parent was no longer in the household.
Right.
So that kind of prompted me to want to do something more with the children. And in the district in which we live in Portsmouth, Virginia, we have a lot of parents that are incarcerated because we also work at the jail as well. So we kind of see both sides. We may see the parent in the afternoon, and we may see the child in the daytime at school. So in order to merge the two together, we formed this program. So the ironic part is that some of the same things that we teach in our program to the kids, we also teach to the parents. So it's like merging the two worlds. It's just on a higher or lower level, depending where the parent is or depending where the child is. Doesn't mean that the parent's going to get the higher level, because it could be someone that needs an additional assistance. It doesn't mean that the child's going to get the lower level, because we have some gifted children. So we just bring the program, but it has both concepts into both worlds. So the jail world or the school world.
How has the response from the children that go through the ACES program been doing with the experience?
So our program started before the pandemic, and then it carried on into the pandemic. So right after the pandemic, we were kind of like in a halt to stop.
Okay.
So we still have the relationships with the children, and we still allow them to participate and be in the club. It just hasn't been anything formal, probably of our pandemic year. But they still go around and they go to conferences with us, and they reach out to other children. They do a lot of like festivals and those things. So the response has been great. The funny part is that in the beginning, the kids didn't want to talk about having incarcerated parents.
That's
So
what I'm getting at.
when they didn't want to talk about having an incarcerated parent because they felt like that they were different. But now that they're in this group and they know that everybody is similar to them, or they have people that are similar, now they tell you everything.
Right.
And then I presented this morning with Dr. Smith, and that's what our presentation was about. And we actually showed a testimonial from a child that started in the program when she was 10, and now she's 12. She's gone now to junior high, and she says that it still helps her to cope with what she's going through, because when she was first in the program, her dad was recently released. Now he's back incarcerated.
Okay.
So that really helps her, and she says she feels like now that she can help others, and she has the coping skills to be able to do that because of the program that we've provided.
Wonderful work.
Thank you.
Wonderful work. Can you tell the listeners where they can contact you or find you? I mean, we need more programs like this across the country.
So they can find us on Facebook at the Boss Authors and Book Club, or Instagram at Boss Authors and Book Club. And then also work with the nonprofit is the same way, Facebook and Instagram, and that's called the Man Foundation. And all of that work kind of intertwines together because it's community and school.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Jaclyn.
Thank you.
I'm Alexis Flowers with issueseneducation.net.